capping in my logic, this that real tall vibe. From the south where the grind don't die, we survive. Mind sharp, money right. Truth be the topic. Welcome to the game. This unfiltered logic. Ain't no sugarcoating here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unfiltered Logic. I'm Jay New, and today I want to talk to you about what's happening right now around immigration. Judges are stepping in, federal commanders are getting dragged into court, and it even appears we got judges acting like immigration activists. We're going to talk about it because this isn't just about politics, it's about whether people who are protecting this country are being punished for doing their jobs. So grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's get into what's really going on. Let's roll. Across the country, we have ICE and Border Patrol being criticized for enforcing the very laws that Congress passed. You got viral clips, emotional headlines, and now judges inserting themselves directly into the field of operations. One Chicago judge went as far as to order a Border Patrol commander to report to her courtroom every single day about his enforcement actions. Let that sink in. A judge, not DHS, not Border Patrol leadership, but a judge trying to run federal enforcement from behind a bench. That's not justice, that's politics in a robe.
The administration is cracking down on illegal aliens, driving the left crazy, of course. An activist judge is cracking down on immigration agents. This Obama-appointed judge, Sarah Ellis, ordered Border Patrol Commander-at-Large, Greg Bavino, to report to her every day at 6 p.m. for the next week to, I guess, explain agents' actions that...
And anytime you hear Obama-appointed, you have to be very cautious of that. Because 9 times out of 10, when someone is Obama appointed, they have a hidden agenda and they plan on executing on it.
Democrats are calling abusive.
Listen, I would love it if they would go arrest the actual gang members who are committing violent crimes. They'd actually go after criminals. That's not what they're doing. They're literally stopping the abuelas and little kids and zip tying them. People are traumatized.
Zip tying little kids, all right. He was originally called to testify today over claims he used tear gas for no reason and without warning. We're talking about Bavino.
And see, they always like to play off of people's emotions. I haven't seen any videos of anybody's grandma or children or anything like that getting zip tied and put up like that. I've seen people chasing around grown men who are running and potentially even assaulting these people, these federal officers that are actually obtaining the people who are on warranted for arrest records, and they're coming out to get them. And I don't see any children. I don't see any kids, grandmas, anything like that getting zip tied. If you guys seen those videos, maybe you guys have seen them. I haven't. So
now understand this: an unelected federal judge is in no position to dictate crowd control measures. Period. End of story. It's not his or her role. Take a look at what happened Thursday in Chicago.
They're about to come over here, random.
This is ridiculous, man. They're sitting here threatening Border Patrol agents, letting them know that they're getting people to come try to block them in and run them over. I mean, I feel like a threat to a federal agent should be, worth an arrest right there. That's a jailable offense, if you ask me. Threatening them, letting them know that you're going to get back up, running them over with a car, and it's all on camera. Come on, man. That's horrible.
Transport 1 will start getting swarmed over here. Please advise we are...
You're getting swarmed.
Are these federal judges clear at all on what's going on there? No, of course not, because it's obvious these agitators keep getting in the faces of agents, trying to provoke them, swarming them over and over, and the agents are yelling for backup. Then came the rocks. The first was thrown at agents where Bavino was actually standing.
These agents are literally being surrounded by these quote-unquote activists, and they're being threatened. They're being pushed. They're being screamed at. They're literally throwing rocks at them. We're going to see more about them throwing rocks at them. But these are all reasons for you to show a little bit of force. I used to work in the prison a couple years ago, And I mean, obviously, these people are not inmates, they're citizens. But at the same time, whenever you feel that you're in danger, sometimes you have to use a little bit of force just to regain control, especially when they're actually on active arrest. They're not here to go back and forth with a crowd. They're not here even to do crowd control. They're here for a mission, and these people are interfering with their mission. But let's go ahead and look and see exactly what they're doing and how they're assaulting these federal officers, because they're definitely assaulting them.
And video provided by DHS appears to show fireworks were shot toward the agents as well. You can hear the sounds popping.
I'm gonna just tell you right now, these federal agents have more discipline than maybe I do, because I would have heard those fireworks going off, seeing fireworks being shot at people. I would have assumed that there was some gunshots. If I hear all those pops and bangs and I'm surrounded by hundreds of people who are screaming, yelling threats at me, I'm not sure if I would be able to just keep my composure the way these guys are. So, I actually want to give a round of applause to these Border Patrol agents for holding their composure for so long and still not using anything that was lethal.
Get off the street! Get off the street!
A second rock.
And a second rock was thrown at Bavino as well. Again, agents warned that these rioters were not getting back.
All right, so let's go ahead and see what Gregory Bavino has to say about this situation.
Well, what is your understanding now? You have to meet with this judge daily. What does that mean to you? What will you be doing?
Harris, over 3 decades, I've had the opportunity to interact with many judges. Each judge is different. Each judge does things a different way. And this is an adapt to the situation type thing. If she wants to meet with me every day, then she's going to see, she's going to have a very good firsthand look at just how bad things really are on the streets of Chicago. I look forward to meeting with that judge to show her exactly what's happening and the extreme amount of violence.
And they're getting bad. Things are getting real bad. See, this is the attitude of somebody who's typically doing everything based off the guidelines and procedures that they were given, doing everything to the T, doing the best that they can, and are still getting negative feedback. He clearly has no problem reporting to that judge every day, giving her the information that she needs, and letting her see for herself that Chicago is much more dangerous than she realizes.
Perpetrated against law enforcement here.
And what she needs to see is this video of what it's like when you go in and out of that courthouse to see her every day. I mean, that's part of the story too. DHS posted some video of the incident on that day showing you and what you and your agents were really up against. And if people haven't seen this, the Department of Homeland Security.
And we've already seen how they were getting assaulted. This is absolutely upsetting that so many people feel so negatively about these Border Patrol and ICE agents coming in to clean up our streets from criminals, known criminals. Even some of them are even known terrorists. And they're coming in, they're picking these people up off of our streets. And it's just constantly rioters. It's very disappointing that these federal officers can't do their job, help protect the American country that we love without getting repercussions and consequences from their own judges.
Put out this video on its website. And we have a close-up look at that now. You were hit in the head by a rock hurled
Hit in the head.
multiple rocks and other objects. I saw a bottle full of water, I would assume, so heavy, thrown at the heads of people there too, your agents.
Man.
Fireworks shot toward the agents. We also see someone with a knife appearing to slash or try to slash a government vehicle's tire. And multiple warnings.
So you guys hear this? Multiple different weapons involved. Knives, water bottles, rocks, bricks. These guys are actively being assaulted. And we're sitting here having them go to a judge about this, having to report to a judge because they were assaulted and reacted properly according to their own standards and protocols.
The crowd to back up. Chief Bavino, talk to me about this day.
Harris, we see this, the sad part of what you see in that video, our agents are in contact with that type of violence Every single
Every day.
they go out into the streets every single day. After I left court yesterday, I was out with agents, and Harris, I was appalled at what I saw, literally appalled at what I saw. At one point, we had 70 vehicles, that's 70 vehicles obstructing and following our agents, and many of these vehicles engaged in
70 vehicles. That's essentially a small army. If you have 70 vehicles, 70 vehicles are coming and pulling up on Border Patrol with weapons, threats, everything under the sun. And Border Patrol didn't fire not one live round. They used tear gas. They literally did everything they were supposed to do according to policy. In fact, they could have even did more.
We made arrests. That's every day. So what you see in that video, that's reality.
Every day.
All right, so you're leading Operation Midway Blitz. Is this judge allowing you to continue to do your job up until 4 or 6 p.m. when you have to go sit with her? And what does that do to operations for you and your agents that you're leading?
First and foremost, those operations continue. They continue unabated. The temporary restraining order and the meetings with the judge.
All right, so we got to see what he had to say. We got to see how he feels and his sentiment. It seems like he's not too worried. He knows that he's doing the right thing and that he's not breaking any rules. So I guess it'll come down to what the judge thinks. After she gets all this evidence that she wants, is she going to change her mind on how she feels about this? Is she going to change it to make it more leeway for them? Or is she just going to sit here and try to put her foot on their neck even more and make it harder for federal agents to get their job done? Before we wrap this up, let's talk about what just happened in California, because this one right here shows exactly how backwards things have gotten in this country. Federal agents carried out a pre-dawn raid on a marijuana farm, not because of the drugs, but because they already knew illegal immigrants were working there. ICE went out to do their job, detain individuals who were in the country illegally, and that's when everything flipped.
Now, following a dramatic pre-dawn raid caught exclusively by Fox News, it ended with the arrest of an anti-ICE activist, one who was accused of smashing the windows of immigration agents' vehicles. Look at that, earlier this year during an ICE raid.
And this is just absolutely upsetting. It is multiple people surrounding these vehicles, throwing rocks, bricks, anything they can get their hands on, attempting to assault these officers, hoping that they break the windows so that these rocks and bricks can hit the officers. This is terrible. This is just a terrible thing when you see this all the time in the country. And they say they're anti-ICE activists. These guys are not activists. They're literally hunting down ICE to assault them while they're doing their typical duties on a day-to-day basis.
On a Southern California pot farm. Our correspondent Matt Finn has got exclusive live details on this. He's in Camarillo, California for us. Matt?
Hey, John, you may recall there was a pretty notable immigration raid on a pot farm here in Camarillo earlier this summer. Some pretty disturbing viral video out of that. Suspects throwing rocks and objects at federal agents' cars as they exited their immigration raid that included hundreds of arrests. That was back in July. Well, this morning, we were exclusively on hand in a pre-dawn sting as HSI arrested a guy in a dark alleyway. They say Issei Carrillo is seen in that.
What, he thought he wasn't going to get caught? He thought he was going to sit here, throw all these rocks, bricks at everybody, all these federal enforcement officers, and you're just going to get away with it because you got a mask on? You think they don't know who you are and what you're doing? Come on, man. All you guys deserve to get arrested. Every single one of you guys who think you can assault federal law enforcement officers or just citizens of America in general. You guys deserve to be arrested. And I hope they get every last one of you.
Viral video throwing rocks at federal cars. Carrillo is allegedly part of an anti-ICE activist group that intentionally blocked the federal agent cars on the pot farm and then ambushed the agents on the way out. HSI says
and they straight up ambushed them too.
In that attack, and a federal contractor was injured after a rock and shards of glass struck their hand. Carrillo is expected to be
injured somebody
with conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer. Now, this is all a part of a broader sweep this morning happening.
They wanted to kill them. You can tell. Look at them. They hope to kill these officers.
Against law enforcement during this summer's immigration raids in the LA area. We expect a press conference at any moment to give us full details. Also this morning, as we were embedded with HSI, there was a female, a target, who so they had a warrant for her arrest, but she narrowly escaped, and we believe she's going to be named a fugitive. Back to you.
In fact, Matt, we're going to go from you in Cameroon to downtown.
And she should be a fugitive. All of them are fugitives. I mean, probably a good amount of them are illegal immigrants, and that's why they're standing up being activists. Thing overall, so you've seen it yourself. As the agents were finishing their operation, they were ambushed. Activists used vehicles to block them in, surrounding their trucks, trying to stop them from leaving, and the agents finally pulled away. Anti-ICE protesters began throwing rocks at the federal vehicles. Think about that for a second. Law enforcement officers enforcing immigration law being physically attacked by people defending those breaking it. The same media that loves to scream peaceful protests every time something like this happens won't call this what it is: an ambush on federal officers. These weren't innocent bystanders or some community watch group. These were organized activists who believe they can decide which laws apply and which ones don't. And let's be real, if the roles were reversed, Border Patrol blocked off activists with their vehicles and started throwing anything, the headlines would be calling it an assault on civilians. But when it's the other way around, silence. These ICE agents weren't out there harassing people. They were executing a lawful operation on individuals who were already flagged for the removal from the country. That's their job. That's what it is they're paid to do and sworn to do. What blows my mind is how people say they support the law until it's one they personally don't like. You can't cherry pick justice. Either the law matters or it doesn't. These activists weren't standing up for humanity. They were standing in the way of law and order. And in the process, they put themselves, the agents, and everyone around them in danger. This is what happens when emotions replace discipline and activism replaces responsibility. So no, this wasn't a controversy. It was ICE doing its job, and it was activists trying to stop them by force. And if that offends people, maybe the problem isn't enforcement. Maybe the problem is the lack of respect for it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you stand with the agents upholding the law, or are you with the mob trying to block them from doing it? I'm Jay New. This is Unfiltered Logic. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unfiltered.
Ain't no capping in my logic, this that real talk vibe. From the south where the grind don't die, we survive. Mind sharp, money right. Truth be the topic. Welcome to the game. This unfiltered logic. Ain't no sugarcoating here, just truth in the topic. Speak facts, not feelings, that's unfiltered logic. Pain made the hustle made profit. I learned from the struggle, now I profit off logic.